Life as a food entrepreneur may seem all glam all the time at first. Tasting amazing new dishes, doing what you're passionate about as a full-time job, having ownership of your life. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Being an entrepreneur is always tough, but life as a food entrepreneur is particularly rough. Today we'll be uncovering some hard truths about it. Our fellow food entrepreneurs will be nodding along in agreement, and for those considering the move, well, it's time to take notes. We are Gumma Channel, and this is the ugly truths about being a food entrepreneur. One, finding the right team isn't easy. As any business owner will tell you, hiring the right people is one of the hardest parts about owning a company. When you're trying to hire chefs, it's even harder than usual. You need people who are great at what they do, but also respectful and easy to take direction. There's no easy answer to this, but a great place to find good quality team members is local culinary schools or job boards like Good Food Jobs. But even with the perfect team, managing chefs is no easy task. Be warned. 2. Your peers might reject you. Unfortunately, there's plenty of snobbery in the food industry. Many chefs look down on those who take a less traditional approach to their dishes. And somewhat surprisingly, they may also look down on those who start businesses. In culinary school, starting a company isn't the set route. Rather, you're supposed to work in a restaurant. So don't be surprised if you don't get invited to those hot events or featured in top publications on the media. Sadly, there's not much you can do to avoid this. Just try to surround yourself with like-minded peers and position yourself as an advocate for entrepreneurship. By you doing something uncomfortable today, you could be opening the door for someone else to do it more comfortably tomorrow. 3. Prepare for legal emergencies. It's always a good idea to have a lawyer on speed dial when you go into business, and it's particularly important in the food industry. After all, you're dealing with something that has the potential to give people allergic reactions, or worse, make them sick. Not to scare you or anything. Then there's the regular stuff like copyright, contracts, employees engaging in illicit activities, and the most frightening of all, compliance costs. Don't wait until the moment you need to act. Find a lawyer ahead of time so that they're there whenever that legal emergency or non-emergency comes up. According to our qualitative study, 33% of F&B businesses' redundant cases with huge expense impact were coming from legal issues and emergencies. We're going to be realistic by saying compliance costs suck, but they make your business grow. Few things strike fear into a business owner more than the word compliance. At best, it's a necessary evil, something that needs to exist to prevent companies from engaging in immoral or illegal behavior. And at worst, it's an annoying, scary, and stressful process that could result in you getting slapped with big penalties. But look, just because compliance isn't a pleasant experience doesn't mean it can't benefit you. Yeah, that's right, it can actually be a good thing. Here's why. First things first, businesses become more efficient. What if part of the reason you find compliance so annoying and difficult is that it forces you to do unpleasant but necessary things that will make your business operations better? It might sound unbelievable, but that's exactly what numerous studies have found. For instance, companies that consider risk when formulating their strategies are more likely to achieve a profit margin of 10% or more. Similarly, research by PwC revealed that businesses using compliance software had higher returns than an average company from the S&P 500, a CAGR of 28% compared to a CAGR of just 13% to be precise. Are you convinced yet? So, fine-tune your processes. Now we've piqued your interest in compliance, it's time to look at exactly what you should be paying attention to. Here are a few key processes for all companies to consider. Record keeping. Always keep and categorize information about your business processes to ensure auditors and regulators can't catch you out. Data and privacy. Now more than ever, businesses need to be proactive about keeping the information about their processes and employees safe. Supply chains. You gotta make sure third parties and partners are following the right procedures too. And it's fair to say, and this is scientifically proven, compliance improves your reputation. Which company would you be most likely to trust? One that's lax in its compliance practices, or one that always goes above and beyond to mitigate risks? Pretty much anyone would choose a second option. This is especially important for B2B firms. Other businesses understand the risks of doing business all too well and are more likely to see your nonchalance as a red flag. However, even consumers who lack compliance knowledge may be interested in its link with ethics and corporate responsibility. Managing risks and your supply chain shows that you're making an effort to look after your staff and the environment, which is something many customers value, especially now. Then there are your stakeholders to consider. Again, a solid compliance process demonstrates a commitment to doing things both properly and safely. The same applies to prospective employees. You might be thinking, but couldn't I do all this without having to go through compliance? The honest answer? Maybe, but that's not an option, so just let that thought disappear from your mind. We actually made this channel because we don't want to see you caught out. So come on, comply! 4. The truth is ugly, so make your life easier where possible. As well as emergencies related to the law, finding the right employees, and facing rejection from other chefs, you can expect no end to the stress and loneliness of being a food entrepreneur. But don't let it eat you up. To make it simple, I'm gonna give you an interesting metaphor. Remember Crash Bandicoot? The video game featuring a mutant Eastern bard bandicoot named Crash? It might be more than 20 years old, but it still has a substantial cult following that has helped it stand the test of time. You're probably thinking, so? But we're not just discussing Crash for the sake of nostalgia. Surprisingly, this retro game can help you relate easier on how to make your life easier as an entrepreneur. Surround yourself with clever people. They say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Sometimes owners and managers get caught up in wanting to be smarter than the people they employ or manage, but this is a recipe for disaster. A far better option is to opt for those who can show you the error of your ways and point you in a new direction. This is evident in Crash Bandicoot, and as you're going about your mission in the game, it really helps to make sure you have someone following you and for them to intervene when things go wrong. Know your limits and ensure you have people to compensate for them. Then, wake up to see that the villains aren't always who you'd expect. It's easy to get taken in by the endearing and the non-threatening, but always keep your guard up. In Crash, the doe-eyed, fluffy penguins might look cute, but they're actually scheming villains that can't be trusted. Lose your focus, even for a second, and you'll find them creeping towards you, ready to attack. Hopefully, in real life, you won't have any penguins to contend with and can actually rely on your employees and colleagues to act the way you expect. But still, you can never be too careful. It's always the quiet ones. And to make your journey longer, don't touch the boxes that say Nitro. You might think that only a crazy person would touch a box that says Nitro, but there's a little bit of crazy in all of us. When we know we're not supposed to do something, it triggers this inexplicable urge to do that one thing that we're not supposed to do. Sound familiar? Avoiding these boxes is a huge part of Crash's journey in the game, and running into one is a fatal error. While you're unlikely to run into Nitro boxes along your entrepreneurial journey, there may be a few times when you're tempted to do something that everyone and their cat would advise against. Submitting your tax returns without the appropriate help is a prime example of this. Stop stepping on Nitro boxes! Ignoring your compliance needs is just like jumping feet first onto a huge stack of Nitro boxes. Come on, you know better than that. Instead of letting your compliance fall by the wayside, seek out a guide to step up your compliance game and help you complete your mission. Sound good?